Hi everybody, welcome back. If you follow Kitplane Enthusiast on Facebook or Instagram, you would see that I posted a picture, or actually a short little video of the leading edge slats on the right wing that I have painted and installed. And the paint on those pieces came out amazing. It's probably one of the best paint jobs I've ever done, probably by pure luck. But when I posted that, quite a few people were asking me what paint gun I'm using. And this is the paint gun I'm using currently, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I just wanted to mention for you, if you're thinking about painting your airplane, not to get too caught up in what paint gun somebody else is using. Because I can take a paint gun and get amazing results, and you use the same one and get terrible results, or I'll get terrible results and you'll get amazing results. To be honest, the paint gun has very little to do with the quality of your paint job. Now, if you don't believe me, go to YouTube and search for a guy named Bad Chad. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description below to his channel. But he looks like a really cool dude. He's got all kinds of tattoos and stuff, but he builds cars and he paints cars. And what he does is he buys a $20 paint gun and he sprays his cars with it and he throws it away. The next time he paints, he gets another paint gun, paints with it and throws it away. Now, he's using about the cheapest paint gun you can get. And when you watch him paint, the paint goes on his cars like glass. It's just amazing the results he gets with a cheap paint gun. I really think that the paint gun has very little to do with the quality of your paint job. There are so many other factors involved other than the paint gun that you can't just say that paint gun gets great results and that paint gun doesn't. So my tip to you is not to go chasing paint guns or buy a paint gun just because you saw somebody else use it and they happen to get good results. But I will show you some of the paint guns that I have, and I'll recommend one to you, just if you don't have any paint gun at all and you're looking for one paint gun to get. The one that I'm currently using now is probably the one I would recommend for you. Now, you guys have seen this first paint gun before because these I get on Amazon, and the last time I bought one, they're about $16. I'm guessing the prices probably went up by now. But I've had really good results with this paint gun here. I spray all the primer with it. The only problem with these is they seem to wear out fairly quickly. So if you're going to buy one, buy like 3 of them because you'll use it a few times and things will start to wear out on it. Some of these other ones, they're mostly Harbor Freight. That's Harbor Freight, that's Harbor Freight, that's Harbor Freight. This was probably the most expensive one I have. This is a DeVilbiss GTI Pro Light. And this is the one I painted my cruiser with. And I initially got really, really good results with it. Like if you look at my, now it's probably going to be full of dust because my hanger's always dusty. But if you look at the results on some of these first pieces that I painted, it's really nice. The flaperons look really good. And I actually have a lot of painting videos from the cruiser if you look at earlier videos on my channel. But when I painted the wings and part of the fuselage and stuff, I did start to get some orange peel. And I was going to say that paint gun I think is wearing out. That's probably not the reason for the orange peel. But I've just noticed that I don't get as good as results with this paint gun as I used to when it was brand new. This is another gun. This is the DeVilbiss gun. This is years old. This is probably 10 or 15 years old. And then this is the paint gun I am using now. I got it on Amazon, and again, I'll leave a link below. It's the X88. I don't remember how much it was. I think it was around maybe like $350 or $400 or $450 or something like that. But it's probably the highest quality paint gun that I have. It feels really good in your hand. The trigger feels really, really nice and smooth. Let me get the camera on the mount because there's one thing I want to show you inside the box. Now, my only complaint with this paint gun is the paint cap they give you. It's a really nice quality aluminum cup, but they give you this little plastic lid that goes in here and just falls out very easily. And the problem is if you've got a bunch of paint in here and you're tilting your paint gun or moving your paint gun, this lid is going to fall right off and your paint's going to spill out. It doesn't screw on, it doesn't snap in or anything. It just sits on there. It's complete garbage. So you can't use that cup on there. Luckily for me, I had this cup right here which is from Harbor Freight. It was from one of these other guns, and it happens to just have the same thread and fit on this gun. So I'm using this gun with the Harbor Freight paint cup. Now usually I spray all my primer with this paint gun because it does an amazing job. But this one here, in fact, I should just throw it away because it is starting to wear out. So all my slat pieces, anything I've painted recently, I've used this for primer also. And it does just an amazing job with a primer too. So if you just wanted to buy and invest in one paint gun, this one will spray the primer and the paint pretty nicely. I've had good results with it. Now I think one of the reasons I've had such good results and the paint came out so nice on my slat pieces is because of something that Bad Chad had said. I'm using single stage paint, which means it's not a base coat, clear coat. It's just everything's all in one. And he said when you spray these single stage paints, you really need to spray at a very high pressure. And I don't remember what he was using. I could be wrong, but I thought in one of his videos he said he has it at like 70 PSI. And I don't know if that's at the gun. That's probably not at the gun. That's probably at the compressor, and then it's less at the gun. So what I did, because I wanted to avoid orange peel, that's probably my biggest problem I have in painting is the orange peel. And he said the reason his goes on so smooth is because he sprays it at such a high pressure. So I just went over to my regulator and I just randomly dialed it up. In fact, I don't even know what it's at right now. I just dialed it up to high pressure and sprayed my pieces with that, and it worked great. Usually when you have a paint gun, you have a pressure gauge at the bottom here, and there's a little green arc on there that kind of tells you where you usually want the pressure, and mine's pretty well above that green arc, but it works great. I think Bad Chad was correct in that when you're spraying the single stage paint, you just have to spray it at a high pressure. And, but again, just because I turned the pressure up doesn't mean, hey, that was the exact reason why I was getting orange peel and now I'm not. It's everything affects everything. The temperature you spray at, the humidity, how far away you hold the paint gun from the part you're painting, and also how fast you move the paint gun. The faster you move the gun, the less paint that's going onto the surface. And if you don't have enough paint to go on the surface, those little paint molecules or whatever aren't going to flow together and smooth out. And if you go too slow, especially with this brand of paint, it's really, really thin. If you go too slow, you'll put too much paint on, and then you have the risk of getting runs. So if you are looking to buy a paint gun and invest in a paint gun and you want to paint your airplane yourself, my own personal recommendation, and I'm not a professional painter at all, but at this point I would recommend this paint gun here. And again, I'll have a link down in the bottom description box to Amazon. That's where I got this one. The reason I recommend this one is because you only have to buy one paint gun. It sprays the primer really nicely, and I guess I've just kind of learned how to use it to spray the paint really nicely now. So it's a nice quality gun. It's not cheap, but it's not excessively expensive either like some of the other paint guns. So if you just want to buy one paint gun, this is the one I recommend you get. But you can also go buy a $20 paint gun, and you can get just as good of results with it. You just have to pick a paint gun, learn how to make the adjustments with the needles, and just practice. Try it at different pressures, at different temperatures, different needle settings and things like that. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube that tell you how to adjust the needles and the pressure and all that kind of stuff. Then it's just up to you to develop the technique of how fast to spray, how thick to put on the coats of paint, and how far away from the surface you hold the paint gun. All that kind of stuff is really up to the painter. Well, if you didn't see it on Facebook or Instagram, this is the leading edge slat that I have painted and installed on the wing now. And I'm really, really happy with the results. So my two big problems I've always had in painting was orange peel and dust. And I'm not talking about dust that like settles from the paint booth. It's as soon as I spray it, the dust is coming from the paint gun. They call it paint nibs. So I think I've kind of solved the orange peel problem, and that's just by turning the pressure way up. And then even with these pieces, there's very, very little dust. There's a couple specks here and there in it that I'm not even worried about. But to me, this is a 10 out of 10 as far as paint goes on the leading edge slat. So I am really happy with these. This morning I painted the yellow slat for the left wing, and then I leave for a few days for work, and when I come back, I'll remove that from the paint booth. I'll put the other leading edge part in there, paint it green, and then the left wing will be done. Then it's just on to priming and painting the flaperons, and then it's basically just firewall forward after that. Well, I just wanted to make this quick video just to encourage you to go ahead and try to paint your own airplane. Pick a paint gun, it doesn't matter which one it is. Learn how to use it, practice, and then don't be afraid to paint your project.